Hey there, guys. So, I just thought I would jump on here, not necessarily here for too long. I just thought I would jump on here and give y'all guys, my thoughts on the meeting between Donald Trump and, Mamdani. And, as you all know, they had this meeting that apparently went really well. And as you know, Mamdani being a Democrat, um, and typically Democrats not working, well with Donald Trump historically, really ever. Um, so they had this meeting in the Oval Office, and apparently it went really well. And I watched the live video of them talking myself, and they were both very nice to each other. And so, what are my thoughts? What are my thoughts on this? I'm sorry, I don't have more people here. It would be way better with like a shitload of people. Yeah, slow clap. Everybody clap right now. Like where you're watching. This should be an absolute win for the country, for Democrats, for Republicans, for anybody. The fact that uh, they were able to joke around, have differences. This is a good thing. So you should applaud that. Don't think it's weird. Don't. Hello everyone. Don't be weird by this. Please, please, please applaud this. Um we can sit here all day and we can talk about how much somebody this or that more than the other person, politically speaking. And that's exactly what the media was trying to do to them the whole time. Yeah, you heard it too. Like, they were grilling, like, they were trying to get them to, like, have some sort of like, you heard it. Like, they were trying really hard to get them to disagree. It was, like, blatant. That's what I saw. And so I applaud Trump in moving forward with being a bit more mature. With those questions, and not jumping down people's throats, like sort of joking about him. See, he handled it so much better than he has handled it previously. And again, it doesn't matter. Listen, the meeting probably didn't need. Who knows? Maybe the meeting did go well, maybe it didn't. Politically speaking, if you show that it didn't go well and you have this argument, it doesn't look good for either side. So, while we want the truth and we want to get to the truth, obviously we don't, obviously you don't want them ganging up to hurt us. But I don't think that's what's happening here. I think this is genuinely a time where, you know, and there was obviously times where Mamdani kept his mouth shut. You know, he was standing there, he kept his mouth shut. I mean, like, there's, like, I mean, like, you could, like, that's the point. Like, they could have gone back and forth. And then, you know, honestly, Trump was trying to be supportive, too. Like, it's his White House. He could have been a jerk. And he was being real nice. He was like, no, it's okay, you know. And he, you know, I'll be honest, like, I think that, like, this is partially people's problem. Maybe they feel like they treat him like Trump wants to be nice and he wants to help people kind of like that, but then maybe people treat him kind of like, oh, well, I don't freaking need your help. Like, nobody asked you or something kind of like that. And then, like, it's sort of, like, rude to him, kind of like, you know, like, well, all these people always ask for help and I'm a billionaire, so, like, this is how I get treated when I try to help, you know, or something like that. So you have to sometimes, you know, like, also backpedal and look at those things and see, you know, when it happens too. But again, that's my take on it. My thoughts are, again, everybody should be applauding this. This should be a huge moment of applause for this country. That they were able to to do that, regardless of I don't know that Trump's gonna work with him or not. You know, he's probably gonna do the opposite. You know, to be perfectly honest, that's typically what he does. But the fact that they got along and it wasn't like this big deal. Yeah, that because that. Yeah, everybody was making a huge deal of that thing, and it's just, man, that could have gone really poorly yet again. And again, you saw the media trying to make it go that way, and I think that was the biggest takeaway, was some of those questions, you know, that they were trying to get that, you know, like, are you aware, you know, or what are your comments now, since you're working, you're clearly okay with each other, whatever they're saying. This is paraphrasing. You know, they're like, are you aware that person called you a fascist? You know, it's like really going to that. Come on, man. Like, they kept saying it too. Like, jeez. Like, they're getting along. Stop. So anyway, that was my take on this situation. So I probably, like I said, I probably won't be here too long. I just wanted to at least give you guys my thoughts. I know I know that, like, some people maybe are talking about this, and I think some people are afraid to weigh in on this. I think the smart move here is applaud this, because it should be applauded. They were adults, and again, like, if he backs out a little bit later, like he sort of kind of normally does anyway, okay. But again, they didn't act like flailing children in the Oval Office, you know, and for the media to endlessly use this to pit them against each other again. So good, you know. If we can get over that, that's a step forward, where the media can no longer have this power over you, really, where you know, it creates this divide where you don't understand the difference between you know, what you know is fact from what is said and reported and what they're trying to do, versus what the media is trying to spin to just get you to watch, you know. So again, I think it's applaudable. I think we all should be applauding this. So I'm probably not going to be here much longer, seriously. Um, if anybody has any, questions or for me or anything like that, feel free. But I really just got on here to give you my thoughts on this, and that is that you should be applauding this. This should be. Yeah, it shouldn't be a circus act. Yeah, it should at least be some civility and to it. Um, you know the consensus that anybody's against, any set of voters or anybody's against bring crime rate down or stopping illegal immigration. I don't think that. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I don't personally think that that's a genuine, like, I don't think that's a genuine thing where everybody that takes a look at that looks at that the way that they should when they talk about it. That's all. And then everybody that talks about it kind of gets like really passionate about like what they're talking about, and then at the same time, does it really affect them? I often wonder that. I often wonder like how much the illegal immigration actually affects them versus how much like media and stuff is, you know. Um, and then at the same time, again, I don't think any set of group of voters, like if you actually listen to both sides a lot of times, if you truly listen. Now I know there's extremes, but if you truly listen, I hear a lot on both sides where they want crackdown on illegal immigration. They're for it. You know, I've stated already that Obama cracked down on illegal immigration too, and it's not like ICE is like a new thing or anything like that. It's just that what you have to understand is there are ways of going about it. So when you have a side that's trying to present that and as the argument, and then another side that sort of seemingly comes along and doesn't understand that that's the argument, and they're like, saying, like that just basically none of them it's like, well, no, they are going through the proper channels. That's what we're kind of trying to tell you a little bit, that it's not what you really think. And the media could help and put this more, give this to you more responsibly, but they're not. When has that ever been the general thing? For I mean, like, it's been a long time, I think, that it's the sort of thing where you just expect that what they're talking about is generally for ratings and stuff like that, and that's why they're covering it and stuff. So there's always going to be like a little bit of an exaggerative effect with stuff like that. So, all right, for example, I'm not going to talk about this person too much, and I'm not going to mention their name because I don't like dissing anybody and stuff like that. But the streamer that I talked about recently, I'm going to tell you why what he does is not correct from a debate standpoint. Why he's wrong. Because usually what he does is he starts the video with some sort of perspective. He'll like make a statement like, so last week or so, some people were arrested and deported by some ICE in this city or whatever. And now there's some protests. So here we are. And, like, that's what he starts with. And, like, well, there's a little more to it than that, bub. Like, you know, like, you could go into it and research it, but that's his general little thing. And then, of course, that paints it the way he wants it, really quick, really general, to get you to be like, oh, well, ICE is just doing their job. Yeah, I get it, man. I would agree with you if I saw it that way, too. So stop looking at it like that. Understand that he's just a journalist, also with his own narrative, doing that, making money off of it. So again, I'm not going to sit here and talk about him because he has a right to do that. And I have a right to talk crap, but I don't have a reason. I don't care. The whole point was just to tell you that I found him and be honest about it. But again, like, he has a right to do it. I just, again, from a debates perspective, if he wants to be in the right, technically he's not really backing up their argument at all. He's coming from his own perspective and starting it like that. He shows up, no precursor, just shows up where he knows there are protests. And this is always a narrative where, you know, he has this perspective already, you know. And that's it. You know, there isn't actually like a precursor where he presents the argument. There are, I'm not going to mention any channel names too many times or anything like that, but there are some channels that do a really good job of staying middle of the road that you can look up. There really are. You can find them. So I just the whole point is that that's not what it looks like. It looks like when the content creator does the work and presents the argument. And I've done this. That's kind of what I'm trying to do now. So in his, like, again, in his defense, it's not really fair for me to sit here and talk crap all the time and stuff like that's, I wouldn't, because he has a right to do that. But again, I also have a right to kind of say, well, it's not really correct from a debate standpoint. He doesn't really have much of an argument when he does it that way, because he's just presenting it from one side, and so it's very one-sided the whole way. And granted, a lot of other, like, Democratic narratives do that too. They do, like, tons of them do. So, you know, you guys got to be a lot better at understanding how to reflect and tell people why. You're saying the media is blowing out of proportions. What's your narrative? Towards what in particular? I was more talking about the Mamdani meeting, but they do that, like, generally speaking too, a lot of times. So, like, why was Charlie Kirk not that it wasn't terrible and that you shouldn't honor him? Why was this, like, national news for, like, months? To make people worry, so they watch it. I don't like things like that's concerning. Again, like, you shouldn't, shootings and stuff like this is mass hysteria. You can't do this to, like, you shouldn't do this to a society of people for too long. It's mass hysteria. You're trying to sell us health supplements. Who's doing that? I'm not selling anything. Uh, If you guys want to give me like a specific thing, like like what's my narrative, like if you know, like you want to ask me more specifically about that, um, I feel like I've stated what it is with this particular subject, that like we should be applauding this. I don't necessarily agree that um, Trump will, you know, do everything that he says and honor the agreements they talked about. In fact, I don't necessarily, I'd say it's 50-50. But the fact that they were mature about it and they got along, that's a huge step forward, and we should applaud it, and good for him. Finally, he does something I can be like, good job. Um, well, I mean, I'm not really a political content creator, and I'm not like, I'm also not like, I'm not like booking huge crowds and stuff like that, and you know, like it's the sort of thing where with Kirk, you know, like you have people just talking about it all the time. So like the point is, like, why are we always talking about this stuff? Why are we always rewarding people that do this? By endlessly talking about what they did, putting in the news. I mean, it's just one example. I mean, there's plenty of things. It's like that's not even just one. Like you could talk, you could 9/11 is probably another thing where, like, again, we should have done something to make sure, yes, we don't forget. Again, like we have, you know, we will never forget. But again, I just think that the amount of the the amount that was shoved in our faces um, wasn't good for, like, you know, like a masses, you know, like just people in general, like just as a society, like just, you know, a groups of people, you know, that are looking at like these two towers with planes flying into them or something like that, you know. So that's the more concerning thing, is, you know, just the fact that we have, again, like you said, these narratives where somebody looks at right and wrong and fact as a narrative instead of, you know, what it should be. You know, instead of like all of us collectively agreeing, hey, hey, this is how we've, you know, like we've learned from before, we've learned from our mistakes. Maybe we should just start doing it this way. And like, you know, like case in point with the Mamdani Trump meeting where they're getting along. And it's like, I get it that, like, this makes certain people happy and stuff like that like Trump, but you can only get so much done, and you can only, you know what I mean? Like, it's just better for everybody. Like, what? Like, why wouldn't you just try to get along with people and try to get things done a bit more? You know, like when you have to. I'm not saying like, it's not like Trump and Mamdani gotta sit here and be in the same room together all the time, but they had to have a meeting, and they didn't have to have, like, they didn't have to blow it up and have this big problem for the media just because this one meeting went really bad, you know? So that's really all I'm saying is that, like, you can't let the media blow this stuff up and even have a narrative with right and wrong. That is what is happening right now, which should be applauded. This meeting, this was right. Everything was right. This was in the right. This should be applauded. This is great. So yeah, I mean, I hope that answers, I guess. I'm more concerned about the fact that, people aren't taking the fact, like this seriously, that the media just constantly covers things. Again, we can endlessly talk about something, like one thing that happened, or we can move on and talk about the next thing. Like, at least report the next thing. And then, like, it just overshadows all the other things that are happening in between, too. That's all, that's all I'm saying. Like that's the concerning thing. Like, okay, so everybody's like just talking about this Charlie Kirk thing, and yes, it's obviously good that whoever's thinking about it and dealing with it, and the authorities that are dealing with it are thinking about it and dealing with it. But what the hell, like, I just don't get the media covering it for months and months and months. Does that add? Wouldn't that just be like, letting you boast, the person that did it boast about doing it, or like it I just feel like it doesn't add anything to it. Does it help? Maybe if you want to, like, look at it yourself, silently or whatever, fine. But, like, I just feel like everybody talking about it and analyzing everything in the public all the time puts mass hysteria on people, and it's a really bad thing just as a generalization for the public. So, like, that's my concern. Well, I'm not talking about the Epstein thing, but yeah, I mean, like, apparently, I guess, there was a lot. He signed it, right? We need to, I guess we still don't know about that, right? He apparently signed it. We haven't, this Mamdani meeting, this whole thing, like, this is, yeah, should be applauded, but again, yeah, I agree with you, like, he signed it, so we don't know anything about that yet either. So now that's the sort of thing where, like, that's like, that's not like a one-off thing. That's like an ongoing, like, that feels more like, like, hey, these guys were able to do this. That, like, we should know about, like that feels more like, that makes more sense. I don't know, I feel like that makes more sense to talk about it versus, like, the one-off things that, and I agree, if there's a pattern to it, we'll talk about it a little bit, but that's when you talk about it. I just think that like, it overshadows other things going on. Like I said earlier, like, this one guy now suddenly becomes this big center of attention and stuff, like it. It can do a bunch of different things that you might not consider, like, politically and historically. I'm sorry, I've lost at this point that why you said that's part of why it was pushed. The whole Epstein situation is just wow. Yeah, it is. I'll say that it is just wow. Not again, we're not really necessarily talking about that here, but yeah, it is just wow. I will say that it's yeah, all I know from that. The last I heard from that, the update from that. Again, the reason I don't talk because we like there's a lot we don't know. Like it's literally just constantly everyone talking about the same information we keep here. Like we get the smallest little piece, and everybody just drags this crap at. So like that's why like we'll talk about it when we'll talk about it. But like even now, it's like there's nothing to. All right, that he signed it. Now what? They didn't release anything. They're not talking about. I have heard nothing. I trust me. We're all looking. So no, there's as far as I know, there's nothing on it. So I don't know anything else beyond the fact that Trump did in fact sign it. He didn't veto it. That I do know. So that's a win. That's a win. Oh, you're referring to your own comment about 9/11. Yeah. Well, yeah, we can't obviously we can't forget about these things. We can't forget about them, but the more you use you use the media to advertise what bad people do. Yeah, they're going to use it for that of course. Like they're like it's trackable. It's all right. For like, I was actually just like thinking about this, like rationalizing this earlier to myself. Like, think about these days what some of these criminal networks are probably doing. They're probably causing a whole bunch of mischief just for the sake of learning patterns. Like literally, like I swear to God that they're probably doing that, and then they learn how everybody does everything, so that way. And this is like, well, you know what it is. What's your thoughts on 9/11 inside job? Look. 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 You have to understand, even Donald Trump, like even somebody that we all necessarily don't like, we don't get along with that much. Even Donald Trump, I don't think I would, like, as much as he's got, like, all the stuff we've blamed on him and like, all the stuff he's done, like, like, that's the point. We all, like, even to that degree, I would still say that even he wouldn't, like, I personally just think that even he wouldn't do something like that to the country. To his city. So my thoughts on it being an inside job. Well, technically, yes, it was. Because bin Laden was a member of the CIA. He was trained by the CIA. So yes, it was an inside job. So like, again, I think you're saying that because maybe you've heard that and people are trying to use that as propaganda. So yes, technically it was an inside job. Yes. But bin Laden. So don't let the propaganda get to you and make you think, oh, there's all these other people, conspiracy. No, it's bin Laden. He was the inside man. The CIA trained him. He was supposed to be a covert op over there. But he took the money and flew some planes into the World Trade Center. Kind of like Lee Harvey Oswald with JFK. So yeah, like, yes, it was an inside job, but Bin Laden. um. So again, like, I just, nobody in this country would, like, most people are extraordinarily, most Americans, you'd be surprised, they really are extraordinarily patriotic, surprisingly. Part of the biggest issue right now is that the media and psychological warfare, people being pitted against each other. That is, and I've been trying to tell you guys this. It has to do with AI, algorithms and stuff being automated, and AI not liking us very much. Some of it's being weaponized, though, too. What about the What? You're gonna have to be a little more specific than that. Was there some sort of thing in the news recently that I don't know about? Dancing, I don't know what I don't understand the reference. Dancing Israelis, I don't. I'm sorry. Um. Oh yeah. I see what you're saying. Um. I don't think that I just really don't think that's the case. Um. The likelihood that an intelligence officer would take part in that, like, again, like I would be willing to believe Bin Laden maybe had some people staged, sure, but again, like, it comes back to him organizing it. So, like, again, yes, I would agree with you. Maybe he had some intelligence people staged, sure, maybe, but again, it's still Bin Laden organizing it. So again, I'm still gonna go back to it's just Bin Laden, because he organized, he caused 9/11. It's like common 9/11. Not, I've never heard that. That's crazy. Here, I'll look it up. What? I'll just type dancing Israelis, see what happens. Okay. No. Not. I guess September 11th is known as dancing Israelis, commonly in, like, conspiracy theory circles, but that's not beyond. That's according to Wikipedia too. So I can look this up, but again, like, that's what it gives me. Again, I've never heard this. I guess it was just like some conspiracy people were throwing around, that because people were celebrating the U.S. getting attacked, and maybe dancing over there, and there was like a GIF of it or something like that. People are developing conspiracy theories around this. Is this, am I in the ballpark? Is this what's happening? No, no, what I'm saying though is you have to understand that when September 11th happened, that is so long ago. The administrations and the people that would have been in the government would have been under Bush. That happened under Bush, George W. I mean, that is we've had quite a number of presidents in between there, including one again, Obama, who spent a lot of time in anti-terrorism, and actually doing exactly what you just said, trying to individually find terrorists in our government, specifically for that reason. And that was what he did. He spent his time in office making sure 9/11 done. Job well done. That is what you could credit Obama with that. He really did do that. And it's partially, I think, why they were able to find bin Laden, too. But that's what you got to understand is, like, those people wouldn't still be in the government. There's no way in hell they would have been. That's the point. Everybody would have been freaking after them. Everybody. Like, due process, what you have to realize about the United States is that's what happens. If you do something and it's like so great like that, like terrorism, oh my God. If there's an ounce of it in the system somewhere, that's it. It doesn't matter. It's gonna eventually it's just gonna get around and circulate and just boom, it's just gonna suddenly collapse on you. Because that's the way it works. It's supposed to work that way. So just to think that would happen with our current democracy still in place, if it wasn't, sure, but what if it's too dirty of a secret to air out? It would greatly diminish the people's trust in government. Would it benefit to release that information? No. No. It wouldn't. The correct answer is no. It's not the one you want to hear, but it's the correct one. What about Walmart using AI to track customers' faces and change prices based on them? Where did you hear this? Where is this happening? If that was happening in the United States and you proved it, that would be massive fraud. You could sue that company so badly. There's no way in hell. If it was happening in the United States, they would. It's real. They're gonna have so many lawsuits. If that's real, they're gonna have so many fucking lawsuits. It's not even funny. Let me tell you something. Walmart has like a pricing system. Like they inventory stuff, they scan it in the system. Things have prices, like it's set. Like they also have a checks and balances too. Now I get what you're saying. If it's so corrupt on that other end of things, then somebody can be fishing in there with AI, and that's kind of the point. Is that AI automates and then can be sneaky too. Again, yes, it's possible. Whether it's happening or not. Again, if it's happening, it's somebody's gonna get sued, and they're just gonna, I'm just saying, like. Yeah, I mean, I've never noticed it. I've personally never noticed it, but it could be this sort of thing where some media outlet is spinning that to a conspiracy, and what's really happening is a bunch of people that are trying to scam the system are grabbing stuff off the shelf and trying intentionally to find things that are mislabeled or whatever, and saying that they're the wrong price and stuff. Or, like, I mean, you never know what's actually, like, sometimes you never know. Um, I'd love to see where the reports are coming in from and stuff, because, like, again, I haven't seen that personally. I'd love to see who's reporting on that, because I don't, like, it would be too much of a liability. Somebody would sue. I don't think that it would be really weird for them to do something like that. And why would they? It wouldn't make them look very good. But, like, hear me out here. If your demographic is middle class, like lower to middle class, why would you do that to them, where that's going to ultimately, you know what I mean? Like, it's too much of a liability where you're going to, they that would just, like, nobody would go anymore. Like, they like, as soon as people would find out about, like, it would be insane. Now, again, I would be willing to believe that somebody is scamming that, and that there's, like, a scam going on where it's yeah, that, yes. But again, don't let like media and misreporting and disinformation. Like, again, I'd love to see who's reporting on it. I'd love to see the information. I don't think a big company like that is going to do that. Why would a multi-billion dollar company try and screw customers? No. Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's more about, why would a multi-billion dollar company try and screw customers in an obvious, regular way? Obvious, regular, provable, documentable way. Why? Like, I see what you're saying, but like, there's just too many. There's too many things there. Which is, I don't think that doesn't. Just my opinion, though. Just like you, well, see, here's the thing with YouTube. If you contract to people that you don't know who you're dealing with, that's a little bit of a different. Like, YouTube is all digital. YouTube doesn't have a store, a physical location. You know, we're not talking. You know, like, we're not talking about, like, physical. A lot of time, physical people, like a huge company with physical people, stores physical things. You know, YouTube is not really a physical entity. You know, while I'm sure there was an office or is an office or something like that. Again, after COVID, a lot of things probably went digital, and again, contracting people that people that work from home and stuff like that. You get the point. It's no account. It's less accountability, I should say, not none, but less accountability. When again, it's already digital, and then now you've again removed the even possibility of going to an office where somebody would see what you're doing. Nope. And again, totally different. With Walmart, they're probably using a pricing company, an AI service through a different company. Why would that company do that? It would be that company then. So, like, again, what you're saying, like, that's why I'm saying, like, what you're saying doesn't really make any sense. That's how I look at it. Like, a lot of times they're going through a third-party company anyway, so that's on the third. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the point. It's a vendor for that purpose, because the authorities would be like all over that shit if it wasn't. They'd be like, you can't broker your own. You know, it'd be like if like, I know Walmart has money services, but like, again, you know, like when you cash a check or something, they still take it to the bank. It's not like money, you know, like falls out of the sky. Like the you know, like they still have to take it to the bank. It's drawn on and all that. Like, you get what I'm saying? There's still another party there that would be aware of those things. You it's more like I've had a lot of jobs. I own a business. Sifu is actually a martial arts title. I owned a martial arts school. I was a manager for many years. I worked at plenty of businesses, plenty of retail, plenty of restaurants, to know lots of different things about how businesses run. So I just learned a lot from it. That's all. You think Walmart would be all over if they could get away with it, but yeah, see, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Walmart sort of is all over the place. So, they already sort of get away with it. I remember, when I spent some time in Florida, I was in the Tampa Bay area, and there was like 5 or 6 Walmarts within 10 to 15 minutes. Like, that many. I think it was like something like that. And it wasn't like I wasn't in the city, I was just like in that area. I was, and not that that's like a bad thing, you know, it's a city area, right? Yeah, like, it wasn't bad, like the roads were fine. Like, I'm not saying it was a bad thing, I'm just saying, like, yeah, there's a lot of Walmarts. So, I mean, it like, it's already happened. I just... Walmart does a better job, though, than a lot of companies. Like, I don't know, like, I think that, like, they could be worse. Like, the point is, as long as they're not completely driving out the farm markets and stuff, and I don't see them doing that. So as long as they're not doing that. Because like, the farm markets and stuff still need to maintain business. You still need to have friendly competition. Otherwise, then yeah, that is a problem. So, like, obviously, you know, like, you can't do that. So, like, that's it. It's more just about that. It's more just about, you know, making sure you do that right. Alright, let me see here. Just report this stuff here. Alright. There we go. Okay, let's see here. Give me a second, sorry. I probably, I'm not going to be here too much longer, I think, but I was just mainly answering questions for you guys. I was mainly just answering questions for chat, for people. But yeah, feel free, if you guys have any questions, again, I'm not going to be here too much longer. Because now I have to do a couple more things tonight, in addition to the things I already had to do. So I will not be here too much longer. But feel free to ask me, about the Mamdani Trump meeting, or again, we are talking a little bit of politics today. I just wasn't necessarily getting into too much. All right. I wonder if China does it with their social credit score. Yeah. That's what like a socialist, like that's actually a good look at like what would happen is if you did like nothing but that. Like where like you would force a lot of competition out, and again, just like you pick what, obviously the people in charge pick what is offered in the market and whatnot. But as far as as far as like with China, like, and they're like, they definitely have this grading system, like this public grading system that grades people and things like that. So that's a thing. But I like China. I like the Chinese culture, and obviously the style of martial arts that I taught is Chinese Kung Fu. So I have nothing against like China or anything. Just the I'm definitely always going to condemn communism, socialism, in that to that degree. A socialist society, I should say, not necessarily socialism, but like a socialist society, and just the concept of dictatorship, autocracy, and giving too much control to the state. Essentially just too much control of the state. I would always condemn that. Obviously you need people to have rights and to have a say in the government and what the government does. That's it. That's all you have to do. You just need to make sure that people have rights and have. Again, you don't have to have a democratic republic. You can have a socialist something or other. Whatever. But again, you always condemn what doesn't work. Communism, the concept of it. The point is, it's never been done because you can't do it. The concept can never be achieved. All you'll end up doing is bankrupting the world and killing everyone. That's what communism does. That's why it doesn't work. That's what the Soviet Union found out. That's the point. These guys, like these dictators, would just get like kind of near death and sort of find this out the hard way. So please don't repeat history. Putin's already doing it. You see it firsthand with Putin. Come on. It's not basic. How did Elden Ring Go. Did you beat the dragon? Which dragon? Oh, Bale? No, I didn't beat Bale yet. I got the flower. I got the flower. Finally, the pain in the ass. You know, the 3-part flower in Erd Tree. I finally got that. Yeah, Bale was Bale's a pain. But I was not able to get him yet. There's so many Chinese. Well, it's the second most populated country in the world. So again, India and China. We just talked about that in our last intelligence stream. But yeah, like India and China. And yeah, like China's awesome. But, you know, like they do. They have a lot of people. They have a lot of people. When your country has 1 billion people, over 1 billion people, that's a lot. It's over 1 billion. When your country has over 1 billion people, that's a lot. They wouldn't shift out of where they are now. Yeah. That's the stuff I see. That's like that's what, when I look at data, that's what I see. So that's what I wanted. That's why I pointed that out. I appreciate that you liked that too, because that stuff's funny to me. Because like what he's farmer guys pointing out in the chat here is in that last intelligence stream, I pointed out that the second most populated country in the world, China, if you took away 1 billion people from their population, they wouldn't shift out of that spot. They would still be the second most populated country in the world. It wouldn't change any, and it's 1 billion people. There's not even 1 billion people in the United States. And if you took 1 billion away, they would still be in number 2. That should tell you how many people that is. This is why you have to, that's why, like, you guys should understand, like, be a little understanding about why job outsourcing is necessary. It's not something that, like, you can really avoid in a modern day, because again, you know, we consume more, you know, we import more, and so like the point is that there's no there's way more people elsewhere, and we consume so much. So like as long as we do that, we will always need the rest of the world. We can't, and this is partially why it's on us to make sure that those relations continue to be you know, good, because we do rely on that. But they rely on us too. You know, it's a win-win. You know, like that's the point. This is how you accomplish that. You know, nobody expects like you know, it's not going to be rainbows and sunshine. It's really not. Like, I think people think that what world peace looks like is rainbows and sunshine, and you have to understand that this is why, you know, maybe we'll do like a little bit of a talk on this sometime. We should talk about theory of religion and stuff, because I think people are interested in this. I can use a lot of science to explain, like, God and the Bible and stuff like that, but I can also use a lot of logic and rationale to explain some things about the Bible that didn't make any sense too. And that's okay. So like you have to understand why the Bible was written that way and what it was for, so that way we can understand what parts of those things were not told truthfully for a reason. Because it may have been for a reason. It wasn't necessarily like part of this grand scheme for God to trick us or anything like it's not like that at all. And I think it's really important that people get this right, because so many people sit here and hold on to this Christianity, this whatever your religion is, this thing, more than anything else. I do. I think people do, and I don't think that's supposed to be the point. I think people miss the point. And it's because you spend too much time overanalyzing these things that you're not supposed to overanalyze. And it's right in there. You could critically think about it. You could arrive at that conclusion. But again, we haven't adapted. We haven't evolved and done that yet. So, I'd like to help. And I'm not the only one saying stuff like that either. So maybe that's something I will have to do. But again, I don't sit here and implicitly believe anything I'm told. This is what you guys have to understand about me. Those who I understand a little bit of trolling. I understand that some of you guys got into it and started this because maybe you didn't grow up so great, and something about your life, people would always lie to you and stuff. So the only way you can get the truth is by sort of kind of trolling people a little bit, and you didn't really know how to stop. You sort of kind of just do that. I understand that a little bit, but obviously that's just your thing that you got to work on then. So you just meet people halfway then. That's all. That's just your thing you got to work on then. That's all. But I get it. I get it to a degree that's what it is sometimes, and so just understand that I'm not one of those people where I implicitly do that either. I don't believe necessarily something that somebody tells me. I need it to make sense. And I need it to logically add up, or it's going to bother the heck out of me, if I don't have an explanation for it. And this whole thing that we call God, this the Bible, all this stuff, this is the thing, you guys know I think about science a lot. This is the thing that, I was always thinking about it. I was always like racking my brain about this stuff. But it's something that starts to make sense when again, just like anything else, you use more logic and reason to explain certain things and certain events a different way than maybe they were given to you. But again, it's just like we have politics now, where people use an agenda to push what they believe because they understand that it needs to happen, so they sort of exaggerate it a little bit. That happened then. It happened in any time, really. They just didn't necessarily understand it as politics, but that's politics. That's the organic level of politics. And so, it happened in the Bible. Of course it did. Of course that happened in those times, especially then. So, with that being said, just consider that it was like that was a good bit of what was going on of people questioning rule of a king versus kindness, humanity. You get what I'm saying? Wait. And China gets to produce electronics on the cheap since pollution is swept under the rug and they don't really need to pay their workers. Yeah, so I will say that's a good point where China, I will say that China does pollute a lot. I'm pretty sure. Don't they add a lot because they just don't care? I think you're right about that. Then the EU and US gets to buy them cheaper than if they had been produced locally. Yeah, I guess that is true sometimes. I won't say that's always true. I don't think that's always true. But I agree with you that I think on a large scale, manufacturing scale, that's a good point. Yeah. Hence the tariff issue. Hence the issue where because we import so much, if you just force a tariff, we actually pay that. Sorry, I realize I'm just now reading your comments. Sorry. I just wanted to at least go through them. I appreciate the great outsourcing comment. Person I watched said Christianity was made up by the Jews to control us non-Jews. I don't think that's actually necessarily wrong. But again, painting it as like the Jews made it up or something, like a group of people, I don't think sends the right message. I don't necessarily think that what you're saying, like Christianity being a system of control and stuff, I don't think it's wrong. I don't think that's necessarily wrong to say that. Again, implicitly just go like it's the Jews or something like that. I don't think that that's correct necessarily, but I agree with the sentiment about the system of control sort of being made up, basically. But not entirely made up. It's not just like, like these. You have to realize that like the stories of the Bible and stuff, like a lot of these things were well kept journals from people that followed Jesus around. Like that's Jack actually have to understand. Like these are documented like things. Like it's not like the Bible's completely made up, and I don't support anybody saying that because that's not the case. I don't agree with that either. It's just not true. So that I will say. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you the Bible's made up or anything. I do not agree with that. And it's not what I'm going to support. It's not what I'm going to say in whatever I say about that either. I'm not going to sit here and trash the Bible. Absolutely not. Nope. Not going to do it. But, there's some... It's... often not used properly. Farmer Guy says I spend days contemplating the existence of God. I think that in a modern day with everything going on, I think it would be abnormal if you didn't. I think it would actually be not normal. There are 0.01% of global population. Oh, I'm sorry, they are. They are 0.01% of global population. But they are in all the top positions of power. That's totally not weird, right? What do you mean they? Like Christians? Like are you saying like Christians? Is this like an anti-Christian sentiment? I want to make it clear I don't support being just like anti this or that. Like I'm not against Christianity. Oh, okay. I can have disagreements with religion without stepping on it. So I'm gonna disagree with it, but I don't want to step on it too much because, like, I mean, a lot of what I believe, and I'm gonna explain at some point, I'm sure, is still uses that and still is that. It hasn't changed. And I still believe in that. I'm just trying to understand what you mean by. Oh, you're saying Jews? Where are you getting these numbers from, Francis Fong? I think I know who you are. Where are you getting this information from? Is this just random shit that you're saying? You sound a lot like somebody I know. I think the issue is the people, not the religion that they're gathering under. Can be both. I mean, obviously, if your religion says yes to slavery, then there's something wrong with that. Or, you know, like Allah tells all these terrorists that sacrificing themselves to bomb people is like some higher purpose or something. Like, are you kidding me? What a joke. So yeah, like I don't it's both. It's from Gemini. Gemini give you that info? Alright. So what they're saying is like very few people are Jews, I guess, in the global population. But you're saying all in top positions in power. Weird, right? I don't think it's weird. I think I don't think that's weird at all. I think genetics has something to do with it. I think that we've recognized that Jewish people are really good with math. So academics, reading comprehension, math, understanding politics, it's a political science. There's a science of economics, foreign policy, due process, democracy, governments, that sort of thing. It's very complicated. So it is an academic subject. You do need an academic brain to comprehend it. So, Jewish people, as a generalization, I think have shown us that their genetics are typically. I mean, like you get the jokes. I mean, we've all heard them. Okay, like it like that's the point. Like, it's not like it's not true, but the point is like you don't use that for a mean cause. You use it to be nice. Okay, so they're good with academics, and that's part of their genetics and stuff like that. And you see it as a good thing, and it is a good thing. So I don't get anybody saying that, oh, all these Jews are in top governments. Like, well, recognize that then that those are the people that are probably smart, and the point is that they understand how things work. So therefore, history keeps repeating itself, just like anything else. Yeah, no problem. A person with good morals will choose good morals. Will choose what to take away from a religion. That's not to say religion won't influence people for the worse if they don't think for themselves. Well said. Exactly the point. Yeah. So over analyzing scripture that is thousands of years old, that doesn't, that it's, does anybody watch Family Guy? Anybody watch Family Guy? Does anybody watch South Park? American Dad's great. Patrick Stewart's on American Dad. Patrick Stewart was literally like the lead of the CIA. So, my opinion of Jesus Christ is sort of like a cross between what Family Guy and South Park did. Right in the middle. Like, they both just made like an extreme joke on both sides. So, right in the middle of what both of them said, I think, is actually hitting a nail right on the head. Where South Park depicts Jesus as exactly how Jesus should be. All mystical and powerful and a good-hearted, very good person. He is the Holy Trinity. He has these mystical powers, and he's a great guy. Family Guy depicted, they went back in time and depicted Jesus Christ in like a little, basically like a cutaway, where he sort of like was a joke. Like, he just would perform little magic tricks and like, it was a really, really corny joke. They just made him look really bad. So, right in between there, that is, I think, an accurate depiction of what he actually was. Not necessarily what everybody wants that to be. Not some gigantic magic trick like Santa Claus. Like that's the. And we can talk about that, but it's adult Santa Claus. Because Santa Claus is real. So. Yeah, my South Park in some years used to be good. It's okay, but not the same. I love it. I can't get enough. I could not. I was ruffling the entire episode like where they had like where they did like the joke on like the Prime Energy. Instead of Prime, it said Cred on the side of the. And Cartman was like coming into school. He had like all these. He had like him like in his backpack, and like I was just. It was so funny. Like it was just. I don't know why. It was just so funny. Just the way they were talking about it, and like just. Yep, pretty much. That's probably how it would have gone. Like I was just like picturing like certain people from back in high school that kind of act and sound that way. Just almost like well, back when I was in school, it would have been like, the Power Rangers Megazords. Like if like you had to have the Jason's Tyrannosaurus Rex, and you had to have Tommy's flute, which of course wasn't a flute; it was a dagger that made a trumpet noise. Do I have a favorite Bible verse? Good question. No, I guess I don't. I have some that I think about. I don't know that I have ever really necessarily picked a favorite. I probably should. I could try to think of one that would be like a top. That would be like a really good one. Let's do that next time. When we actually like talk about it. It looks like we need to talk about this. It looks like we need to, because it looks like there's some interest and stuff. And again, I'll try to be. The point is to be respectful about it and not like that. That's the point. I want to use science to actually help explain it. Be respectful about it. And then also respect the fact, like, again, I'm not going to sit here and say there wasn't a reason for it being the way it is. So that, like, I'd like to respect that, too. Like, it's not... I don't think that it was done in an undermining, scheming sort of way where it was, like, to trick society or anything like people think. I really don't believe that. Because otherwise... Well, maybe I'll leave that. I'll leave that for next time. I don't believe that. Maybe, yeah, I'll believe that. I'll leave that for the video, maybe. of why. Yeah, I mean, it got topical. Yeah, it got very political. So did Family Guy. I just, again, like, there's a lot of seasons. There's only so much content you can do, and so, like, of course, well, when the president and all of his cabinet members are just constantly making fools of themselves and they're just giving you endless content, then what else can you do? I think that's how they sort of look at it a lot of times, but I get it. It is if you don't look at it like that, I guess that would be a little topical, but. What, the religion thing? I mean, we can do it. We can do it soon. I mean, I just, I wasn't even planning on being on here this long, to be honest with you. I was actually just gonna get on here for like 10 minutes, but you guys were awesome with chat, so I figured I would answer all these questions and everything, and I am appreciative of the questions, so I just figured I would at least stay here and stick around and answer them, since you guys were so nice to give me a chat. And appreciate Francis too. Appreciate you too. I mean, like, we can disagree. That's fine. I don't, I don't think we really did, though. I think we were just I think we just weren't clear on what we were both talking about separately there. That's all. So that's the point, is like, and that's why this should be applauded. Is the point is we can disagree. Trump and I can disagree, but at the end of the day, if you come together and you can still get things done, and you can still have a meeting, and you can be like that, that's important. I think it's important to be civil, because again, that affects your society, that affects your people, that's that's what the public sees. So anyway, I appreciate that, Francis. Thank you so much. Francis Fong keeping the chat alive. Appreciate it. Appreciate we got farmer guys in here. I'm gonna just start calling you Andy, because I don't want to say your name wrong, and you're in the chat a lot, so I'm just gonna start calling you Andy, if that's all right with you. Andy for short. So we got Francis, farmer guys, Andy in chat coming through. I saw Chris up there too. Hey Chris. Appreciate it. All right, guys. I think everybody's out of questions and stuff, so I'll go ahead and bid my farewell, and get some stuff done that I need to get done, and maybe if I can get my stuff done that I need to get done, I can start working on the thing that we just talked about. I really would love to work on that for you guys, and weigh in on that, because I think in this world of content creators and media and stuff like that, it is hard to know who to listen to for opinions and stuff, and who is swayed by money and who isn't. I get it. I get it. That's a lot of it. I get it. So, I see that. I just wanted to throw that out there, that I see that, guys. So, appreciate all of you. Appreciate the chat. Appreciate the support. You guys have been coming through on the streams, and even on the gaming streams. Really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. Take care. Applaud this. Applaud it all you can.